Yo, welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. I'm Jackson. Today's episode we are joined by a very special guest, current professional hockey goaltender with the Columbus River Dragons, Will Salnek. Is playing with the Federal Prospects Hockey League's Columbus River Dragons right now, and recently got his first professional win out of the way. But even before that, he played this past year in the Ontario Elite Hockey League with the Aaron Outlaws for 14 games. So he is he's a seasoned guy right now, going in right into the Fed. So I'm very excited to have you on because I know your story is kind of crazy, and like especially with like you being in the Canadian military as well. So I'm I'm excited to dive into everything from that to getting into pro hockey. So welcome to the show, Will Salnek.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Picked a
Yeah,
hell of a guy for a story.
yeah. What a story. So I'm excited to dive into that, but like we'll do that later. We'll just get like an introduction on you. So like when did you start playing hockey, and like when like what was like youth growing up for you?
Yeah, so I grew up in Toronto, Ontario. Hockey was actually my second sport. My parents kind of introduced me to golf really early on. So I was playing in golf tournaments from 5 to 6 years old. And then obviously I was a child and not wanting to go to golf tournaments every once in a while
Yeah.
or every weekend kind of ruined the sport for me as a kid. And then obviously growing up in Canada, hockey is, it's basically a way of life over there. So I remember,
Yeah.
I think I was 10 years old when I started playing hockey, not competitively. And after my first year, my parents noticed that I hated skating up and down the ice. So they said, "Hey, why don't you give goalie a try?" And yeah, I was a goalie in house league, lit it up in house league, I guess, because the following year I was playing single A in the GTHL, and basically played single A for my entire career from Pee Wee all the way up to midget. Um, I was very successful in single A. Unfortunately, I never got a opportunity to move up just because I was very unorthodox in the way I played. Um, More of like a Dominic Hasek style. So when the
Old
coaches
school.
see that, yeah, old school all the way. So when the coaches kind of saw that, you know, they want to technically sound goalie, but I mean, I was keeping the puck out of the net, so I couldn't really complain. Um, my midget year, I had a team. This would be 2019. I had a team in the GMHL offer to sign me to play in the next year. Unfortunately, we all know what happened in 2020, and I never got an opportunity to play. So I really didn't have any other option. Didn't want to sit at home and do nothing, so I ended up enlisting in the Canadian Armed Forces, which was definitely an experience right out of high school. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
went from a boy to a man in 5 weeks in basic training. I joined the infantry, so I did my infantry trade school, um, which was also really intense. I thought basic training was tough, and then you train how to take apart weapons and do all these kinds of maneuvers. Um, and I basically did that full time for 2 years out of high school, and then I wanted to give university a try. So I ended up going to Wilfrid Laurier University for just that 1 year. Um, in September, they were doing tryouts for their youth sports hockey program, and I thought, why not give it a try? I mean, it doesn't, if I go out there and stink, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I actually ended up walking on that team. I never really got to play. I was more like just a practice guy because I mean, youth sports, it's pretty
Yeah.
competitive. A lot of
Yeah.
OEHL guys, junior guys, and for me who never played junior, you know, hadn't played a competitive game in 2 years, and to be able to walk on a youth sports team, I I definitely took it kind of lightly. I didn't really know how good U Sports hockey was until maybe like 2, 3 months after, and I was like, wow, this is pretty good hockey. But for me, I decided university wasn't for me. Not really a school guy. I like to get my hands dirty. So I remember going to that summer. I was working full time at the military again, and it was the same cycle. I wanted to try something new, so I wanted to be a combat medic in the army. So I applied to go to paramedic school, and I remember I was over in Trenton doing aerial logistics, which is basically kicking the cargo out of the plane, making sure the parachute opens, and helicopter undersling program, which is you're underneath the helicopter and you hook the load up. So I
Wow.
remember getting back from that day, and I got a letter from the school I applied to, the paramedic, and it was unfortunately a no go. So I remember sitting in my car, kind of thinking like, oh man, like what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? And then I remember that moment at U Sports Hockey where you know some guy who'd never played, never played junior hockey, hadn't skated in 6 months, walked on a U Sports Hockey team, and I was like, you know, this Trav Four guy is out there. He's playing in the Fed. I feel like I'm better than him. Like, why don't I just give it a go? And I basically trained for a year and a half, building connections, um, and eventually led to me getting an opportunity in Columbus to participate in their main camp. I did the free agent things all across the U.S. during the summer, and kind of tried making a name for myself, throughout the FPHL community.
Yeah.
And yeah, eventually I got my shot in Columbus, and I thought I had a really successful camp. But I mean, you know how the business goes.
Yeah.
Two guys come down. You know, you're not going to take the guy with no elite prospects when you got two SP guys, at the door.
Yeah.
So they did. I'll give them this. They did try trading me, but I mean, who are you going to trade for? At this point, I had no elite prospects, so just trade for some dude. But I ended up signing to play senior in Aaron just because it was closest to where I lived in Toronto, and yeah, senior hockey is it's definitely pretty tough. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a lot of time and space with the players. It's more of an offensive heavy league, so the scores are pretty high. But just being part of a team for like the first time since minor hockey was pretty special. It didn't matter if we won or lost. I was having fun. Playing hockey again, basically almost full time again, which is pretty cool. Um, but yeah, the my numbers in senior obviously weren't too good, but you know, I was facing 45, 50 shots a
Yeah.
game.
So you're facing a lot
So
of
much
rubber.
you can do, but a lot of rubber and a lot of high quality rubber too. But it was enough. I squeezed enough results out. Same with the other goalies there. We rallied together near the end to clinch a playoff spot. And I ended up playing the first two playoff games against the best team in the league, which didn't really go our way.
Yeah.
And in between game 2 and 3 is when I got the call to come back down to Columbus, and that was a pretty hectic 48 hours for me. In Toronto, we probably got like 4 feet of snow, and I'm panicking because I know my car is not going to make it
Yeah.
from Toronto to Columbus. I drive a small car, so driving that through blizzard is not fun.
Yeah.
So thankfully, my parents were able to help me out with trying to get a flight down, and you know, flew out Friday morning, got to Columbus Friday afternoon, and I'm dressing Friday night for the home game against the Bobcats. So that was pretty crazy. I wish I was more awake to kind of soak it in a little bit, kind of going through the motions there a bit.
Yeah.
But looking back at it, that was awesome.
Yeah, just craziness and chaos, and like find yourself going from Toronto to Columbus in a couple hours, and then you're backing up a game the night that night. Like
Exactly,
that's there's so much you can soak in when you're just going all day every day at that pace.
exactly. And yeah, just being part of that like team again was just when I first got here, it was like you know I did really feel like the emergency backup. Like first couple days, I was like, man, like do I really deserve to be here? And then
Yeah,
you know you finally get into a little rhythm, and then the guys they really welcomed me in, and I'm truly grateful for that. Just a random, but I mean they knew me from camp, but for me to
yeah.
come down here and for them to take me in the way they did is amazing.
Yeah, and like so, like those first couple games that you backed up, like what were those? I know you said you wish you were more awake the first game, like the next game, like you're able to soak it in a little more. Like,
Oh yeah,
what was
yeah.
it like
Just
soaking everything in?
for me, it was just the fans. Like I've never seen like I've never been like actively in a game with
Yeah,
that many fans in the crowd. So just to see that was like, whew, this isn't senior hockey anymore.
oh,
Is this is the big leagues now, I guess. But I remember I did catch a puck in the game for the first game. I managed
nice.
to keep that
There we
for
go.
first pro game, and I did buy the jersey from the first game. So
Yeah, why not? It's your first pro win,
exactly,
first pro game. Like you got to get the jersey.
exactly. So yeah, that was, and also just like the background scenes, what goes on behind pro hockey.
Yeah,
Just making sure plays are ready to go. You know, making sure your warm ups going. Tape sticks. I was trying to figure out like because like for me, I always like senior hockey. I would just show up an hour before
yeah,
and stretch for half an hour, get dressed, and go out there. For me, it was like first time showing up that early up to the rink, and I was just trying to figure out what to do. Like, can't stretch for too long. Can only throw the ball at the wall so many
yeah.
times. But I'm starting to get it dialed in now. I'm starting to get used to it.
Yeah. What were you what was that those first couple games like when you're just trying to get that routine down and everything? Like we did like obviously you said you're getting it figured out, but like what were those what do you do to figure it
Oh,
out?
I just try new things, new stretches. Kind of look at the other guys in the dressing room, see what they're doing. I try doing the same thing. Um, yeah, just trying to make sure I'm prepared. Keep
Yeah.
stretching. Keep your eyes moving. A lot of reflex drills, making sure the joints, the hips, nice and loosey goosey. But
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
you have
like
to
I
make
say,
sure.
just finally starting to get it dialed in now.
Yeah, that's
A
good.
lot of
But like
water too.
yeah, uh-huh. That is true. And like especially down south like, in Columbus, I'm sure the rink is warm in there, so you got to stay extra
Yeah,
hydrated.
that took get some getting used to. Just coming down to a warmer climate was
Yeah.
it's nice when you're leaving the house in the morning, but when you're out there on the ice and you got nothing keeping you warm, it's or nothing keeping you cool, it's
Yeah.
definitely takes some getting used to.
Oh yeah. What are the fans like in Columbus? I've heard like their fan base is incredible and they packed the Civic Center there.
Oh yeah, they do. And the fans were also just amazing towards me. Like I've never really, got to experience that other than a couple people back in Aaron. But just people coming up to you after the game, wanting you to sign stuff, take pictures with you, sending their support for you. Even I wasn't playing, and people coming up to me, oh, you looked really good in the warm up. That was just special, and that's the same with all the guys. I mean, the fans are extremely supportive down here.
Yeah. That's what you aim for when you're in warm-ups. Just look good, feel good, and people
Yeah,
notice.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
definitely cool. Especially like even like in the warm ups, the fans are awesome.
yeah. You just hear everyone pounding the glass when you're just
Yeah,
skating by in warm-ups, just looking at the stands. Like you're like, wow, like I'm really here.
yeah, that was definitely for me. Like I also just didn't know how to react to it. Like I know like I'm trying to stay focused and all, but like
Yeah,
it's hard to for me it was just hard to stay focused in those first couple games and all the fans are, looking at you. But no,
yeah,
it's been amazing.
yeah. And then like you backed up a couple of games, and then recently you got into a game after in Motor City after like one of your goalies got hurt a little bit. So
Hmm.
like what was coming into that game like, and just because you played 57 minutes of the 60 games of the 60 minutes that night.
Hmm. Yeah, so it was I definitely underestimated how tiring road trips were. So going going into that game, maybe I wasn't, 100% there, but
Yeah,
once you get in there, you're awake. Um, it's hard to say that, I wasn't nervous, but I definitely was nervous. Like, first pro game, it's
yeah,
not like you're a forward or a defenseman where, you can make a mistake and maybe get away with it. A goalie makes a mistake, everyone sees it.
yeah,
So, now once I got settled in, I felt pretty good out there. Um, I just wanted to trust myself out there. Like I knew I was like I'm good enough to play there.
yeah,
Um, it's just about convincing myself that I'm good enough. And yeah, I felt good out there. I mean, maybe one or two goals. Like looking back, maybe I should have had, but that comes with experience. A couple games. I get that out. Like I'm just trying to get. It's definitely different than senior. Like the
yeah,
net front presence was something I've never had to deal with. Where there's always someone in front of the net. That's something I've never had to play with. Um, and just the how fast the game can get. A lot of drawn up plays. It's not a lot of improvised hockey. Every time you go into the offensive zone, there's a plan.
yeah,
That took some getting used to, but no, I felt like I made a couple good saves, and once I was settled in there, confidence was definitely there.
yeah. Once you got that first save, were you like, I'm dialed in, like I feel good, and like it's just another hockey game.
Yeah, that first save also like came like maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes after I went in. So it was definitely nice to get that the first
Yeah,
save over with. It would have sucked to say the first shot I faced went in, but
yeah,
no, it was nice to make that first save. Made a couple more saves. Um, but yeah, it was definitely a couple nervous couple minutes there.
yeah. But like, what do you learn about like the game style and everything? Like, especially when you have so many bodies in front of you, and like the net front presence is someone's always there, like you said. Like, what do you learn from that experience for the next game that you get to go into?
Oh, just be more aggressive with the traffic. I mean, I looking back on the one goal I let in, I just wasn't aggressive enough with the traffic. Like I wasn't like actively fighting to get my eyes on the
Yeah,
puck. I was kind of just hoping that I'd eventually see the puck. And when Buddy faked that shot, I thought he shot it. And obviously, I was looking over blocker side, and when you shoot, I went glove side. He ended up cutting back across, and then basically had the most of the net to shoot at.
yeah.
So yeah, no, that was when I lost sleep over, but the boys pulled through. I actually ended up they didn't count it, but the boys counted it. I did get an apple. If
There
you
we
look
go.
back at the video, there's one play that the boys thought I deserved an apple on that. So, but
There you go.
you know,
First pro win, first pro point. Unofficially,
yeah,
but officially.
unofficially, I got the puck. That's all that counts.
Yeah, exactly. But like that game went into overtime, and then you guys ended up pulling through and winning that game. Like, what was that feeling when the puck went in that net? And you got your first pro win out of the way?
Oh, going into overtime, it was like a mix of like, emotional
Yeah,
and a side of relief. You know, 3-on-3 can be, pretty bloody for a goalie.
yeah,
And the boys went in there with the plan and they executed it. And it didn't really hit me until I got into the locker room. Like, well, like, after everything I went through, all the people, who told me like I wasn't good enough or, never played junior Y a year. Like, that was special. Just to say that, like, hopefully one of many, but, just to win a game at the professional level is, for someone like me, it's just amazing.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And like that, it's awesome. And like you said, it doesn't hit you till like after the fact, and like you're like because you just see it as another game. But then when you really look
Mm-hmm.
into it, like it's your first pro win, so you got that out of the way, and you're able to like get that monkey off the back in your first
Mm-hmm.
game. So like you don't have to worry about, oh, when's my first wing gonna come? Just keep rolling now.
Exactly. Yeah. And then another good thing is, now I know what to expect, right? I
Yeah,
went into that game, completely, not completely blind, but, this is, something new for me. Like
yeah,
it's different, 5-on-5 scrimmage with the team than, playing an actual game. And yeah, that's pretty.
yeah, for sure. But like what's your expectations going forward? Like now that you do have that win out of the way and a game out of the way, like what are you looking forward to now and for the rest of the season?
I mean, as a goalie, obviously, I want to keep playing.
Yeah,
Just keep elevating my game at practice. Working hard. Um, I know that hard work pays off. I wouldn't be here if I didn't believe that. And I just want to keep grinding and hopefully get another opportunity to play.
yeah. It's all you can do and just keep getting 1% better every day at practice. Just
Exactly.
keep going forward and just keep battling every day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like what was your time in like Aaron Outlaws was your first official team on your EP. It's like what was it like playing in Aaron, like just like in the Ontario Elite Hockey League? I know it's different from playing in the Fed, but
Mhm.
what was your time like in Aaron like?
My time in Aaron was it was pretty good. I mean, I can't really complain. I mean, they were the same thing as Columbus, right? They kind of picked me up. Basically, I went to tryouts, and
Yeah,
they thought I was good enough. But it's the same thing. They look at elite prospects. They want guys with resumes. So I'm always going to be forever thankful for them taking me in the first place, and for me to even get the starting job in Aaron was something special. And yeah, the hockey there was it was competitive. It was we fought till the end most of the games. Um, well, like I said, there's a lot of high scoring games just because it's an
yeah,
offensive heavy league. But you know, we were just guys. We worked Monday to Friday. 9 to 5 jobs, and then on the weekends we'd travel across southwestern Ontario playing hockey, and that brought us together. And the wins were special, and even when we lost, we were still together. Um, but like I said before, a lot of rubber for the goalies.
yeah,
Um, a lot of high scoring opportunities. But as a goalie, that does make you better.
yeah,
You know, if I wasn't getting 45 shots a game, you know, if I was getting 20 shots a game, I'd probably be a worse goalie than if I was getting 45 shots a game.
yeah. You just
So
got to be
I mean, I
dialed right
can't
from the start.
exactly. And no, I love Darren. I'll probably go back there in the summer to say a proper thank you because I know I kind of left on a not a sour note, but I did leave the guys halfway through a playoff series to come down here.
Yeah,
So I do need to say proper goodbyes, but No, even the fans in Aaron are amazing. We struggled at home for most of the season. Most of our wins were on the road. We really couldn't win at home, so when we did win at home, the two or three times we did, it was always special for them. So um, yeah, we owe it to them. They've been there even when we were losing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good that they have a good fan base there and makes everything more special. Like when you do have a good fan base there, like most areas do, and like you're like it just helps you go to battle even more for the fans in the town.
Mhm. And another tough thing about playing in that OEHL is playing in those small barns.
Yeah,
I'm not too sure if you're familiar with playing on smaller ice, but as a goalie, when you're playing on smaller ice, the game just gets that much faster and everything just comes at you way quicker.
yeah,
So you know, coming from that, I think I had a little bit of an advantage just going from small ice to big ice. You know, you actually have time to see the puck and direct rebounds if needed. And that was definitely nice when I came to Columbus and playing on big ice. That was
yeah,
a little bit easier for the goalies.
yeah, for sure. Like this like past like October, November, like I played in the EOSHL and like one of the rinks in Westport, big neutral zone, but then a super small offensive and defensive
Hmm.
zone. So like you're facing shots at from the blue line that's probably top of the circle. So like it's a
Exactly.
scoring chance every time. And like you have no time to react. And I remember that was my first game in that league. Like first two shots, first two goals. I was like, great. What a start to the USHL career. But like once you like find that,
Yeah.
once you figure out the angles and everything on those smaller ices, like then you get dialed in and you get focused and end up getting a win. So I
Mhm.
can't complain at the end of the day, but it was really interesting going from like the big ice to like a small zone like that.
Yeah. It's definitely took me some getting used to, but eventually made it work.
Yeah, I was off on my angle on the first two shots by a whole lot. But like once I noticed that, I was like I figured it out and figured it out the rest of the game. So it's just about learning from your mistakes.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
but like especially as like a first year like competitive goalie, like what do you learn from playing in Aaron when it's like you're facing 40 shots a night and then you're facing super grade A quality chances all night?
It teaches you to be patient, right?
Yeah,
Like, you know, looking back at Aaron, a lot of goals that were scored on me, I had, close to no chance on it. And, it doesn't matter how they score on you. If you're letting in six, 7 goals a game, even if you had no chance on any of them, like it does make you feel crummy.
yeah,
Like especially for me, where like I'm trying to build a resume for myself and my numbers look horrible.
yeah,
Like you just got to be patient. That was with me in Columbus. Like I just got to be patient. Hopefully get the call. Like they've seen me play. I mean, numbers tell one story, and
yeah,
video tells another. So
yeah,
just got to be
exactly.
patient.
Yeah, and you just got to be ready from the get-go too. Like I remember my first competitive season, the Michigan League, like I was facing 60 shots a night. Like my first game, I faced 58 shots and gave up. It was a 7-3 loss, but like that really taught me that like you're gonna get thrown in the fire right away and you got to be ready. So it
Mhm.
was kind of like a wake up call. And then like every other game I was facing 60. I faced 75 shots my second start there, and like I was just like I'm getting thrown in the fire. Like I got to do everything I can to be ready right from the start. Can't have an off period or anything. You just got to be on for the entire 60 minutes.
Yep, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. It's a blessing in disguise too, because it gets you makes you develop more as a goalie. I think if you're facing
Oh yeah, 100%.
that much rubber in 60 minutes or like throughout a whole season, like you're developing as a goalie like really quickly.
Oh yeah. and definitely felt that for me as well. Just going from senior to pro, obviously you're not face. Honestly, felt like a lot of guys in this league, don't have a lot of time and space when they shoot the puck,
Yeah.
which definitely the advantage goes to the goalie on that one. But when you're facing shots from guys that have all the time and space in the world, and you go from no time and space, you know, it makes it a little bit easier for the goalie.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Just gotta just gotta stick it out and just grind it out, and like the numbers and everything will eventually work out no matter how many shots you're facing. Like when you get in front of different teams, like they're gonna notice that. But
Mm-hmm.
notice you as a goalie between the numbers that you've been posting too.
Exactly.
Yeah, but like you said, like you spent like a year and a half training before you got to the OEHL and then the Fed. So like what was that training like for the past like year and a half before you got into the pros?
Yeah, so it was it started off as only going to like pick up games because I really didn't have any connections. I was really kind
Yeah,
of really new to this. And through playing pickup hockey, I eventually made a lot of connections. And one connection leads to another. And I eventually made a connection with a guy that ran a power skating clinic, and he needed a goalie to shoot like just to get shot on.
yeah,
And he had a bunch of OHL draft picks, a bunch of junior players, and that was the first time I was really facing high quality shooters instead of just like 45-year-old beer leaguers.
yeah,
And yeah, I remember because I didn't really have a coach. I didn't have a goalie coach. I ended up buying a GoPro, and I'd record all the practices. And as soon as I got to work after the morning skate, I would kind of like at lunch watch the GoPro footage and make notes of what I was doing wrong. So while I was after every morning skate, I'd go to work, and I worked a desk job in the military,
yeah,
and I was fortunate enough to have a very good boss who would let me come in late every once in a while because he knew what I was doing.
yeah,
And yeah, it was I'd skate in the mornings. I think it was Monday, Wednesday, I think Thursday. I'd skate all those mornings, and then I'd go to work the next day or work the morning.
yeah,
And then I'd usually do that rent a goalie in the afternoon just to play games. And I use the games just to work on skating. And I got obviously, beer league and competitive hockey are two different sports. So I didn't really care how many goals I got scored on in beer league, as long as my skating was good.
yeah,
Um, I was happy. So I used the beer league games to train my skating, and I used the power skating clinics to basically work on angle, reactions, just stopping the puck in general. And that eventually led me into going signing up for those free agent camps. And that's when I was really starting to feel the momentum. I was like, well, I'm really competing at these free agent camps. They may not have taken me, but I'm still, top two, top one
yeah,
goaltender, at these camps. And I was also fortunate enough that at the place I work, we have a very nice gym. So throughout the day, you'd be able to work out. So everything kind of worked together where I was able to, work and train to play hockey at the same time.
yeah. Everything just worked together, and you're just able to get everything you need to do while also at work
Exactly.
too. So that's best of
Exactly.
both worlds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's pretty funny for my first game. I know I have a bunch of buddies back home that I work with them in the military, and they're watching the games. It's always pretty cool to see the reactions, all the boys cheering you on. It's
Yeah.
definitely pretty cool.
Yeah, no matter where you are, you always have people cheering you on, so it's always good to look back and just be like, yeah, like the boys got my back.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, but like it's nice that you're able to use the power skating to work on like the angles and actually making saves and like I do in beer league now. Like whenever like I have games, like I have more important like stuff to worry about. Like and like I'd rather be like all like 100% dialed in for the pro games and just go have fun and be with my buddies in beer
Mhm.
league. And so it doesn't really like matter how many goals you give up in beer league as long as you're making it worth it. Like when you're playing pro games, like you're giving yourself a chance to your team a chance to win. Like that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's always good to have that and be able to dial that stuff in. But like what did you have to work on the most when you were doing like these power skating classes?
Oh, I was horrible with my ankles. That was, going up against beer leaguers when they, 9 times out of 10 they don't even know where the puck's going.
Yeah,
And then you're going up against, junior guys that play in the OJ and then a couple, OHL draft picks.
yeah,
You know, they see the net through the puck's eyes. And that's what the GoPro actually helped me with a lot. Because I mean, my first couple of skates, I was getting lit up and I had no idea why.
yeah,
And eventually, I figured out by the time this guy releases the puck, I'm probably like, half a foot off angle.
yeah,
So, so definitely the power skating clinics really helped me, fixing my positioning and making sure I'm on angle, the entire way. And really getting my hands involved. A really bad blocker, and the like very bad blocker side, where either I'd completely miss the puck or I'd spit out a horrible rebound right to the shooter. So the GoPro definitely taught me how to be patient with my blocker and how to be able to angle that puck either out of play or out of harm's way, and really just be able to let the puck come to you and the blocker do the work. So just being able to get that high quality scoring opportunity, having those guys shoot on you from top of the circle hash marks, and just being able to work on your hands, every other day really helped me, elevate, my game. And there's no other teacher other than failure. And
yeah,
I failed a lot, and you know, getting scored on taught me how to stop pucks.
yeah. You learn a lot from those instances, especially if you're like you go back and you see video and stuff, like you're able to see your failures and then be able to work on them at practice the next day or the next or whenever the next ice session you get, and then you keep repeating that process and eventually like your weakness will turn into a strength.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's like the biggest thing you learn from your failures is just trying to turn that into a strength. And then like you're also like your own goalie coach too at that point because you're seeing
Yep.
video and then you have like all these different resources like you're writing notes about like what you did wrong, like what you did right that and that specific play, stuff like that, so you're just able to use all that knowledge and like everything that you're seeing to your advantage.
Yeah, the GoPro is definitely huge. Um, didn't really feel like paying for a goalie coach.
Yeah,
Um, I know a lot of goalie coaches in the GTA or the Greater Toronto area. They work with kids, and I mean, I don't want to be that one adult at a kids training session because
yeah,
obviously I'm there to learn. If I make mistakes, I'm going to get frustrated.
yeah,
Like I'm playing to play professional hockey, not to have fun.
yeah,
And yeah, I just didn't want to work with kids. And the GoPro was it's not like 100% a coach, but being able to see your mistakes and making notes on how to correct them is, for me, it was the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah, like I'm sure like you like there's like live barn and everything now too, so I'm sure you go watch video whenever you can, like watch video of the game from
Oh
this
yeah,
past game. Like that's what I do every game, every practice. I'll go either live barn or go to like the YouTube wherever it's streamed the game and just watch like what I did good on a specific play, like what I could work on, like how did that goal happen? Like was it just an unreal shot or did I like make a mistake before that goal happened? And like you're able to learn a lot from just going back and just really taking the time to do your homework.
yeah. For most of that bus ride from Detroit back to Columbus, I was dissecting the game video. I know it's like, pretty soon after, a game, but I'm kind of critical of myself. I want
Yeah.
to see, what I'm doing right and what I'm doing wrong. Um, but yeah, I definitely was watching that game a lot on the way back to Columbus.
Yeah, but like that's what the best of the best do is they just reevaluate themselves after every session, every game, just to further get better and better. Because like that's how you're going to develop and get better at a quicker rate than if you were just to just go through the motions every day.
Exactly.
So it's just with
Exactly.
intention.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
I've got my notebook ready for tomorrow morning skate.
yeah, there you go. So like what do you do for like when on like practice days and all that? Like you do you have like your notebook and then you just write stuff about like how you felt, stuff like that?
It's the notes don't really come out. Like I don't like to make notes before practice. I like to make notes after practice, and then I like to read them when I get home. Just kind of refresh my memory, and
Yeah.
then right after I finish stretching before I get on the ice the next day, read them. So just want to go into practice, knowing what I need to work on, what I need to do, whether that's being more aggressive or keeping your head up, make like scanning the play when you're behind the net playing the puck, um, everything. Just gotta make sure that I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Exactly. That's the biggest thing is just doing whatever you can to get better and like knowing what you have to do to go into that next day of work. Like same thing for like a 9 to 5, like you know what you're doing the next day, but like and like
Yeah,
in a pro sport, you know what you have to do to succeed for the next day at practice or to going to the gym, like stretching, like whatever it is.
yep,
Yeah. But I want to get into like your like military background a little bit here before we wrap this episode up because like
yeah,
that's a big part of like how of like you said like you turned to from a boy to a man in 5 weeks. So like what like went into like the process of like joining the military and then just going through like boot camp and all that.
yeah. It was definitely an experience. Obviously, COVID in Canada was pretty tough. Hockey, we couldn't play hockey. A lot of people were getting laid off. I just graduated high school and I had no plans on going to university. And it's not like I could find a job anywhere.
Yeah.
So, I thought, why not? The Army's hiring. I'm going to be able to, work and get many experiences. But no, I remember, my dad dropping me off for basic training, and I was nervous, but I will tell you this: I was more nervous for my first pro game than going into basic training. Um, but yeah, it was. It's a lot of breaking down and building you back up. Um, a lot of physical stuff. Um, but they really want to. They don't really want to like be mean at you or anything. They really just want to teach you and get the point across.
Yeah.
So and obviously being safe as well. Because obviously we're firing weapons and stuff. But it was an amazing experience. I was a picky eater going in there, and now I'll eat about anything.
You
Um,
just got to eat whatever you
it's
can, whatever's given to you.
exactly, and it's a lot of life lessons. Just being comfortable in uncomfortable situations and really just striving for greatness. Um, you know, it's never enough. You got to just keep working, keep working.
Yeah.
Um, the standard is always high. Um, well, I mean, yeah, the above standard is the standard, and anything below above standard is not good enough. So, and it's also a lot of resilience, right?
Yeah.
You're in the forest for like 10 days. You're sleep deprived. You're dirty. You're living in a dirt hole for a couple days with no sleep. You're eating horrible food, but it's it really prepared me for hockey. And I will say that. Just that having that mentality of just keep working, keep working. But one thing I will say is that the chasing the pro hockey dream has been way tougher than anything I've done in the army. Just because in the army, the saying is that there's always a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
You know, the, the field training exercise will eventually end, or you know, I hate to say this, but the suffering will eventually end. Like you'll always go home at the end of the day.
Yeah.
With pro hockey, is like you never know what's going to happen. You could be here one day and you're gone the next. You just can't think about the future in pro hockey. You got to think about the now. And that was one thing that took a lot of getting used to with the pro hockey, going from army to pro hockey. But also just like the teamwork mentality in the army. Teamwork is everything. You're only as strong as your weakest link. So when you're in your section of 7 to 8 guys, you really got to have that cohesion. Really got to trust each other because in the end of the day, if you're doing your job for real life, it is life or death.
Yeah.
So you really want to trust the guy beside you, make sure he knows how to do his job. But yeah, it was definitely an experience. I looking back on it, I don't regret enlisting. I feel like I'd be half the person I am today without going through what I went through with the army, and it's all positive.
Yeah.
I appreciate everything. They've also just had my back. When I told them, hey, I'm gonna go for this. Every single one of them have had my back and told me to just chase it because I remember right before I left for Columbus, I was slotted to go overseas. I guess this month in March, and I really like I told them like maybe because obviously you join the army to do your job. I
Yeah.
was supposed to go to Latvia, and for me when I got back from Columbus and had a successful camp and felt like I really belonged there, I turned it down. I was like, this hockey won't always be there for me. The army will be there. So they've been incredibly supportive. And if you look at my hockey gear, my pads, my glove, my blocker, even the design on my mask, it's a tribute to my regiment back home and all they've done for me. And yeah, I'm truly thankful for what they've done for me. Like I'm not getting out. Like I'll go back this summer and I'll work for them. But no, they've been awesome, and the experiences have also made me a better person.
Yeah. That's huge that they're so supportive of going for the dream too. Because once you have like that support and everything, it makes everything a hell of a lot easier to just go and do it when you have all that support and you know they're gonna be there to back you up.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure I'm lined up with a nice desk job for when I get back home. So that'll be nice.
Yeah. Yeah, and like everything like that you've learned is life lessons from the military army to life in general to playing hockey, playing pro. Like you'd use all those life lessons for everything that you do in the rest of your life.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, Yeah, I mean, I could sleep about anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, even those long bus rides. Well, I mean, I
Oh
didn't get
yeah.
much sleep on the way to Detroit, but no, it's you learn how to like I said, be comfortable in uncomfortable situations.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the biggest thing is that you're gonna be uncomfortable and you're gonna be uncomfortable in a lot of different situations. But if you're just if you have that comfortability and like you're able to be like, oh, I still got it, even though I'm in this uncomfortable situation, you still have that trust and belief in yourself. Like everything, like it will pan out to be a positive because you will have like the belief and trust in yourself to just keep going no matter what.
Exactly. Um, One thing definitely is, the army stuff, like training wise, doesn't really translate towards hockey in a way that playing goalie, it's not just like the body, it's the mind, right?
Yeah,
And all the army stuff I'm doing, you're basically training to make everything instinct. It's taking apart a weapon or drills, coming under contact, stuff that you do over and over and over again. That when you're going 36 hours on 4 hours of sleep, that it just happens. It's
yeah,
instinct. With hockey, you really got to use your mind. As a goalie, know, it's all about playing mind games. Keeping your head up, looking at the play, and making sure you're making the right decisions. You know, Army, there's only one decision, and you got to just keep going with it. You got to just
yeah,
do what you're taught.
yeah. So you have that's cool. That's cool to have like that those two different analogies to like have and just like its instincts in the army and everything, and then like obviously with hockey, like it's your mindset and just being able to trick your mind into believing something, even if you don't fully believe it. Like you just trick your mind into believing something, and like it's amazing what the mind can do. Like once you do that.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, no,
Yeah,
I've definitely gotten to do a lot of cool stuff, like
yeah.
being underneath a flying helicopter. That's pretty cool. Um,
Was it
uh,
scary too,
uh,
or scary?
I mean, it's not really that scary, but the those helicopters can definitely, blow a lot of wind. Like
Yeah,
running to the helicopter, and you got the wind flying. Um, the being able to fire weapons in a situation is also pretty cool. Um, just like, also just being able to represent your country. Having that flag on your shoulder, and knowing that you're the one that is supposed to protect people of Canada, right?
yeah,
So just having that responsibility, and having people thank you for your service is it's we don't expect it, but it means a lot to us. So no, it's been amazing.
yeah. That's good, and like that's huge. That it's been such a good experience for you, and like I love your pads too, like with the Canada flag on them, and then like just the tribute to your regiment too. Like that's sick, and like there's probably no better set in the league than that.
Yeah, the white camo pattern. Yeah, it looks. I was hoping it would throw off the shooters, but I honestly don't think it does.
Hey, maybe it provides a little bit of a mind trick, but you never know.
You never know.
Yeah,
Everyone
you
I've talked
never.
to said it doesn't do anything.
They're either doing that
I think they're
or
lying.
they either mean it or they're lying, something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's awesome. But I have a few more questions for you before we wrap this episode up from the Q&A that I sent out on Instagram yesterday. So you want to get to that?
Oh yeah, of course.
Perfect. First question is how have you dealt with adjusting to the fast-paced, higher level hockey?
The adjustment really came in practice. It was more of a minor adjustment in practice. Just understanding, like I said before, like the flow of the game, and how
Yeah,
everything's kind of drawn up and not really improvised. Um, it was more or less like a big adjustment when I actually got into a game. And fortunately for me, it came pretty naturally. Um, just understanding, just be in the right place at the right time. Like I'm a big guy, um, but no, I feel like I've been here for 3 weeks. I'm finally starting to get used to that pace. It's just the other stuff I need to get used to, like the net front presence and a little bit of the, keeping my head up and making sure I'm making the right passes when I'm playing the puck.
Yeah, those are good things to adjust to and like just to get comfortable with.
Yeah, yeah. The
Next one.
other
Yeah, go
the
for
other
it.
stuff just comes naturally, just being a big guy,
Yeah,
just falling back on fundamentals. Make sure your angle's good, make sure your depth's good, and good things will happen.
exactly. Next one is who's your favorite NHL team and player?
So I am a massive Buffalo Sabres fan. And I mean, that may come to a surprise as I'm from Toronto, but I had some family who worked for the team, and I was born and raised a Sabres fan.
Nice.
My favorite player growing up was Ryan Miller. Obviously, being a Sabres
The
fan,
GOAT.
him in Buffalo playing amazing. I also did like watching Dominic Hasek as a kid. I wore 39 through basically my entire minor hockey career, more or less, just because I played like him. But closest to I guess today's age, Ryan Miller was probably one of my favorites. Favorite goalie in the league right now, I'd say Linus Ullmark is someone I try and aspire to play like. How
Yeah.
technically sound he is amazing.
Yeah, those are good goalies to have to be favorites.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Next question is how has your military background contributed to your development as a player?
Yeah, so it's basically like I said before, just working hard and understanding, you know, hard work does pay off, and just to be resilient in those tough situations. Not everything's going to go your way, and you just got to adapt, improvise, overcome, and
Yeah.
make sure you get over those obstacles.
Yeah, it's what it's all about, just overcoming those obstacles, and that also leads into like the next question is like, what's been the biggest challenge that you face in your career, and how do you overcome it?
The biggest challenge was definitely when you're losing. When I was losing in Aaron, like losing games, that was tough.
Yeah,
You know, it doesn't matter if I played well or not. As you're giving up 5, 6, 7 goals, you go home at the end of the day and you're like, what am I doing?
yeah,
Like, I'm out here. I turned down a deployment overseas, and I'm out here putting up horrible numbers. Like, how am I going to keep going? And you just got to keep. Like, I just kept digging, digging, digging. You know, eventually got to the point where I started seeing a lot more success. Finally, started winning a couple games, and just wanted to believe myself. Like a lot of the time, like a big reason why I quit hockey in the first place is like to join the army is because I didn't really believe in myself. And playing single A most of your life, I'm playing pro hockey now, and I never played triple A hockey. I never played junior, and that's because people told me I wasn't good enough, and I believed it. And for most of my hockey career is like for me just struggling to believe in myself, and especially in Aaron when you're going through a tough time, you lose a little faith in yourself. So the turning point for me was after we started winning a couple games. I really started to believe in myself, and when you're believing in yourself and you're confident enough, good things will come. And eventually, I got the call to come back down here.
yeah. That's the biggest thing is just the belief in yourself and having that utmost confidence in yourself to do the job. And once you truly believe that, like everything, like you start winning games, you start getting noticed by other teams and leagues, and you just go up from there.
Exactly.
Yeah. The next question is, what music do you listen to on your headphones?
Yeah, I always walk into the rink with my headphones on. So um, I always play the same song when I go into a rink. It's "Run Through the Jungle," the song that I posted on my Instagram. The what's the band called again? I think it's CCW. Yeah, "Run Through the Jungle." I love that song. There's just something about it.
Gets you
While I'm in
going.
the locker room, oh yeah, it's like a subtle song, but it gets you hyped up, ready to go.
Yeah.
In the dressing room, it's a lot of Nickelback, 80s hair metal, a little bit of Eminem,
Yeah.
but yeah, just stuff to get me going, hype music. But the Nickelback. I'm a Canadian boy, so you gotta
You
like Nickelback.
rock star?
Rockstar. That
Yeah.
song's on repeat for
Yeah.
right before you go out.
Yeah. That's the last song I play before I go out too. So it's a great song.
Yeah, Rockstar and Burn It to the Ground.
Yeah. Those are key songs right there. But the next question is you posted this is like posted this you posted about chasing the dream on Instagram. Like what is your ultimate dream?
Yep, the let me just reference the post here. Oh yeah, the quota. Yeah, so that's obviously like me trying to, I took a massive chance, you know, turning down my, deployment overseas,
Yeah.
which would have paid a lot of money to play hockey. And the quote there is to say that, the backup plan will always be there. It's the dream you really got to go for. If
Yeah.
you really want it, you're gonna have to make a couple sacrifices along the way. So basically, do whatever you got to chase your dream.
Yeah. So that's huge, and that's a good thing to have, and just it shows anyone that like if you have a dream, it doesn't matter like how big or how small it is, like if you want to do it, like go and do it. Like there's gonna be sacrifices that come obviously, but like if you really want it, like you'll do anything to go get it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then the next question is we kind of already like tackle this, but when Sammy went down, did you feel nervous or excited about the opportunity to step in? And I'm sure you always said you're nervous, but like it's also a good opportunity as well.
Yeah. So I mean, I think a big reason why I was really nervous is not a lot of people get an opportunity to play pro hockey, right?
Yeah,
So for me, you know, it was go out there, do your job, and you know show everyone else that you're good enough. And the pressure is really on when you go out there and you're trying to convince other people that you belong there.
yeah,
So that was probably one of the biggest reasons why I was nervous. Most of my family was in the stands, so
yeah,
so I think my dad was more nervous than I was. But yeah,
yeah. But you got the win out of it, so everything's all
yeah,
good.
exactly.
Took a chance and it was successful.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep. They
that's
didn't drive
awesome.
5 hours for nothing.
Nope, exactly. But the last question I have is like like goalies, players looking to get to that next level. Like, what's some tips or advice that you give them to just keep going, no matter like they want to play juniors to college, college to pro, or if they don't have a resume at all?
Well, I can really only speak for the people that don't have a resume because
Yeah,
I this is like my first. This year has really been my first experience, playing, you know, real competitive hockey since minor. And obviously minor hockey's a lot different from, junior, college, university.
Yeah.
But for the people that, don't have a resume, I mean, you just got to keep working. It's all about, it's a business, right? So it's you got to make connections along the way, and you never know, who's watching you or anything. So you just got to make sure that you're working hard, you're making the right decisions, and you're most importantly you're being a good person.
Yeah.
Um, you got to swallow your pride. That is probably the biggest piece of advice. Swallow your pride, and if you really want it, you're going to have to work for
Yeah.
it. But building connections is probably the biggest thing
Yeah.
because in all of hockey, it's about who knows who, right? So if you got one person that truly believes in you, don't let them down.
Yeah. Exactly. That's a big piece of advice. And just to go off like the no resume part, like I started with no resume as well. And you just gotta, if you really want to go for the dream, like you have to commit to it and just go for it. Like there's gonna be sacrifices like we've been talking about. There's gonna be ups and
Exactly.
downs along the way. More downs than ups when you're trying to get to where you want to be. But like you just got to keep moving forward every day, keep getting that 1% better every day, and just go in with a mindset where you're gonna dominate no matter where you are.
Yeah, you just got to keep your head up. I mean, it's a sport, right? Not
Yeah,
everything's going to go your way. The sooner that you accept that, there's going to be games where it's just not going to go your way, you know, the better it gets. It
yeah,
can only get so bad,
yeah.
right?
Exactly. There's always light at the end of the tunnel, like you said
Exactly.
earlier. Yeah. But this has been a great episode. So Will, I want to say thank you again for coming on the show. I really appreciate your time and want to wish you the best of luck for the rest of the season.
Yeah, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.